the alien princess defied her council to protect a single human. The sun of Gliese 7 cast a soft golden glow over the crystalline towers of the capital city, reflecting in colors that seemed impossible to name. The garden stretched endlessly, with plants that shimmered and glowed in soft hues, some of them moving slightly as if they were alive in a way more aware than ordinary plants on Earth. Liara had wandered here many times, finding peace among the strange flora and the soft hum of the city far below. Yet today, there was something different in the air, a sense of curiosity that she could not quite explain. She leaned over a small bridge made of translucent metal, watching a stream of glowing water cascade beneath her. The water sparkled like liquid stars, and tiny, delicate creatures floated along its current, making tiny chimes as they touched the surface. Liara's mind wandered, thinking of her duties as the princess of the Gliese Dominion. She had been trained since childhood to serve her people, to obey the council of elders who made every decision for the entire civilization. Every rule was absolute, every tradition sacred. Yet in her heart, she often felt a tug towards something beyond the strict order of her world. As she walked deeper into the garden, her sharp emerald eyes caught movement near the edge of the forested grove. She paused, instinctively moving closer. There, crouched between two glowing plants, was a human boy. His clothes were strange, and his hair fell in messy strands around his face. His eyes, wide and fearful, reflected the glow of the plants, shining with confusion and wonder. Liara's first thought was shock. Humans were not supposed to be here. In the Gliese Dominion, humans were almost mythical creatures, fragile, unpredictable, and dangerous to allow into advanced worlds. The Council had forbidden any contact, insisting that humans could never understand the ways of alien civilizations. And yet here he was, standing in her garden, trembling slightly as he looked around. "Who are you?" she asked, her voice calm but firm. The boy jumped, startled. I'm Eli," he stammered. I didn't know this was, I just—" His words tumbled out, filled with fear and awe. Liara studied him carefully. There was no weapon, no danger, only curiosity and hesitation. His species was small compared to her people, his body delicate, yet his eyes showed something she had not expected: intelligence and courage. Something inside her stirred, a feeling that humans could be more than the Council had ever admitted. "You should not be here," she said softly, though she did not move to push him away. "This is forbidden. Humans are not allowed in the capital." Eli's eyes widened. "I didn't mean to. I came through a portal, I think. I was exploring and then I was here." He looked around nervously, taking in the glowing plants and the tall, shining towers in the distance. "This place, it's incredible." Liara felt a smile tug at her lips. Humans were fragile, yes, but they had a spark she had never seen in her own people. Their curiosity, their fear, their wonder, it was all part of what made them unique. She knew the Council would see only the risk, but she could not. Not now. "You must be careful," she said. "If anyone sees you, they will take you away. They do not understand humans." Eli nodded quickly, relief washing over his face that someone was speaking kindly to him. I understand. I won't cause trouble. I wanted to see your world. It's amazing." Liara studied him in silence for a moment. There was something in his voice, a mixture of fear and hope, that reminded her of herself as a child, before the Council had shaped her every thought. "Come with me," she said finally. "I will help you, but you must trust me. If anyone sees you, you must stay hidden." Eli nodded again, his eyes shining. Together, they walked along hidden paths, under arches of glowing vines and over bridges made of shimmering metal. Liara led him to a small pavilion hidden deep within the gardens, a place even her attendants rarely visited. The pavilion glowed softly with light from the walls, reflecting colors that changed as if they were alive. "You can stay here for now," Liara said. "No one comes here. You will be safe." Eli's mouth opened, but no words came. He simply nodded, still in awe of the strange beauty around him. Liara watched him quietly, feeling a sense of protectiveness she had never known before. For days after that, Liara visited Eli in secret. She brought food, simple lessons about her world, and stories of the Dominion's history. Eli listened eagerly, asking questions that made her think in new ways. He was small and fragile, but his mind was quick, his imagination boundless. He asked about the stars, about the plants, about the strange creatures that moved among the gardens, and he asked about her. "Why do you care about me?" he asked one day, his voice soft. "Everyone says humans are nothing, that we are weak." Liara paused, choosing her words carefully. "Because I believe that even small things can have great power. Even humans, you are brave and you are kind, and sometimes the council is wrong." Eli looked at her, wonder and hope in his eyes. You think humans can make a difference?" "I do," Liara said firmly. "But you must be careful. The council does not see the world as I do. They will try to stop us if they find out." As the days turned into weeks, their bond grew. Eli learned quickly, absorbing knowledge of alien technology, languages, and even some basic survival skills. Liara marveled at his quick thinking and adaptability. He asked questions that made her question traditions she had never doubted before. One evening, as the two of them watched the twin moons rise over the crystalline towers, Eli turned to her. "Liara, why are you helping me? Why risk so much for one human?" Liara's gaze followed the moons, their pale light reflecting in her eyes. "Because sometimes protecting someone small can change the future. Because I see something in you that others cannot. Because the right thing is not always easy." Eli nodded slowly, understanding more than words could say. In that moment, he realized that he was not just a visitor in an alien world. He was part of something bigger, something that could change not just his life, but perhaps the lives of countless others. But the council was watching. Small sensors and probes, hidden in the gardens and palace corridors, began picking up unusual activity. Reports reached the elders, warning them that the princess had been seen outside her usual paths, moving through areas restricted to humans. Whispers of a human presence reached their ears. Liara knew the council would soon confront her. They would demand that she follow their rules, that she abandon Eli, that she obey without question. But for the first time in her life, she felt a strength that came not from obedience or duty, but from choice. She chose to protect this human boy, even if it meant defying the council. One morning, as Eli prepared to explore a small part of the garden he had not yet seen, Liara handed him a small device. It was a simple tool, glowing softly with alien energy. "This will help you remain hidden," she said. "It masks your presence from sensors and cameras. Use it wisely, never let anyone see you." Eli took it carefully, marveling at the delicate craftsmanship. "Thank you, Liara, I promise I'll be careful," she smiled, a warmth in her chest she had not expected. "I know you will. You are stronger than you think. And you are not alone." As days passed, their secret continued. Eli explored the hidden gardens, learning to navigate the strange world with Liara's guidance. They shared stories of their worlds, dreams, and hopes. Liara realized that through this human, she had discovered a new way of seeing her people, her world, and herself. Humans were fragile, yes, but they were capable of courage, ingenuity, and wonder. They had the power to teach even the most advanced civilizations lessons about resilience, creativity, and morality. And Eli learned too. He learned that the universe was vast, full of beauty and challenges, and that even in the face of strict rules and great danger, one person could make a difference. He learned that trust and friendship could cross worlds, and that sometimes defying expectations was the greatest act of courage. One evening, as the two of them watched the sky painted with the light of distant stars, Liara spoke softly. "The council may never understand us, Eli. They may try to stop us, but we will find a way. We always do." Eli nodded, feeling a sense of hope and purpose he had never felt before. "I'm ready," he said. "I'll follow you, no matter what." Liara placed a hand gently on his shoulder, feeling the weight of responsibility and pride. "Then we will face this together, one step at a time, one choice at a time, and perhaps together we can change more than just our worlds." For now, the palace remained quiet, the gardens glowing softly under the twin moons. The princess and the human boy shared their secret, their bond growing stronger with every passing day. The council might be powerful, the rules might be strict, and the universe might be vast and uncertain. But Liara had discovered something more important than obedience or tradition. She had discovered courage, trust, and hope in a single human being. And that discovery would shape the future in ways no one could have imagined. The council chamber was filled with light from the tall crystalline windows, reflecting the colors of the palace gardens below. Elders in flowing robes sat in their assigned seats, their faces stern and immovable. They spoke in low, precise tones, their words deliberate. "The princess has been seen outside her usual paths again," one elder reported, his voice calm but sharp. "Sensors confirm the presence of a human in the gardens. This is unacceptable." Another elder, older and more rigid than the first, leaned forward. "We warned her. We instructed her on the rules, and yet she continues to defy us. Her actions place the entire Dominion at risk. How can she hold the future of our people in such disregard?" They debated for hours, discussing the implications of her disobedience. Some argued that the human must be removed immediately and the princess punished. Others hesitated, admitting that the girl's knowledge and judgment were remarkable, but the rules were clear. In the end, the council agreed. The princess must be confronted, and her choice to protect the human boy had to be challenged directly. Meanwhile, Liara moved through the gardens with a quiet confidence. Eli followed, carrying the small device she had given him, keeping him hidden from the council's ever-watchful censors. The two of them had developed a routine, a rhythm of secrecy and learning. Liara taught him about alien technologies, the patterns of the stars, and the delicate balance of the Dominion's ecosystem. Eli absorbed every detail with amazement, asking questions that often left Liara thinking in new and unexpected ways. One afternoon, as the twin moons began to rise in the sky, Liara led Eli to a secluded waterfall deep within the gardens. The water sparkled in soft purples and blues, tumbling over smooth rocks in a gentle cascade. Eli knelt beside the water, cupping his hands to drink. "This place, it's like a dream," he said, looking up at Liara with awe. "Everything is so alive, so magical." Liara smiled. "It is magical, but it is also fragile. The council believes humans are too weak to understand it. They do not see what you can see, Eli. They do not understand that strength is not always measured in size or power. Sometimes it is measured in curiosity, courage, and creativity." Eli's eyes widened. "You really think I can make a difference?" "I know you can," Liara said firmly. "And together we will find ways to prove it, but we must be careful. The council is watching more closely than ever." That evening, as they returned to the hidden pavilion, Liara noticed movement in the shadows. Sensors embedded in the garden trees glowed faintly, betraying the presence of a council observer. She quickly pressed a button on a small device hidden in her bracelet, and the sensors blinked out of sync, sending false readings to the council monitors. Eli watched, fascinated. "How did you do that?" he asked. Liara chuckled softly. "A little trick I learned when I was your age. The council believes technology is only for enforcement, but we can use it to protect too. Always remember, Eli, knowledge is power, but understanding is wisdom." Days passed in this secret rhythm. Liara and Eli explored hidden corners of the gardens, studied alien machines, and shared stories of their worlds. Eli told her about Earth, the vast oceans, the crowded cities, and the simple beauty of a quiet forest. Liara shared the history of the Dominion, stories of explorers who had charted stars and planets long before humans had ever left their home world. Their bond grew stronger, and Liara began to realize that her feelings for Eli went beyond duty. She admired his resilience, his eagerness to learn, and the way he never allowed fear to stop him from asking questions. The council, she knew, would never understand her attachment. They could not see the value in one small human when they measured worth in population, strength, and conformity. But Liara had learned that sometimes, one small individual could make an enormous difference. One morning, the council summoned her. The message arrived as a glowing orb in her quarters, vibrating softly. Liara knew this day would come. She had prepared for it, rehearsed every argument, but deep inside, a part of her still felt a flicker of fear. Eli sensed it too. "You will be careful," he whispered. "Promise me." "I will," she said, placing a reassuring hand on his shoulder. "But I will not betray you." The council chamber was colder than usual, and the light seemed sharper against the smooth, crystalline walls. The elders watched her with unblinking eyes as she entered, her robes flowing and her head held high. They were the guardians of tradition, and she, though their princess, was standing on the edge of defiance. "Princess Liara," the eldest elder began, his voice echoing in the chamber, "we have received disturbing reports. Humans are not permitted in the capital, and yet one has been seen within your gardens. Do you deny this?" Liara took a deep breath. "I do not deny it," she said. "I have met a human. He is not a threat. He is curious, intelligent, and capable of learning. He has shown courage and creativity beyond what you might expect." A murmur passed through the council. Some were outraged. Others were silent, processing her words. "You have defied our rules," the elder said, his tone sharp. "By protecting this human, you place the Dominion at risk. Do you understand the consequences?" Liara nodded. "I understand, but I also understand that strength is not only measured in conformity. Humans can teach us, inspire us, and challenge us. This one human has already shown remarkable insight and bravery." The council stared at her, unable to accept her words. They had been trained to see humans as fragile and inconsequential. The idea that one could make a difference challenged their beliefs, their authority, and their traditions. "You risk not only your future but the stability of the Dominion," another elder said. "Why do you choose this path?" Liara held her ground. "Because the right choice is not always the safe choice. Because compassion and understanding are strengths, not weaknesses. Because sometimes protecting the small and the vulnerable leads to the greatest discoveries." The chamber fell silent. Liara could feel the weight of their disapproval, but she did not flinch. For the first time, she felt the clarity of purpose that came from following one's heart, not tradition. When the council dismissed her with warnings and threats, Liara returned to Eli, her resolve stronger than ever. "They will try to stop us," she said softly, "but we will not let fear guide our choices." Eli looked at her with admiration and trust. "I knew you would protect me," he said, "even if it's hard." "It is hard," Liara admitted, "but worth it." In the days that followed, their lessons continued, but now they also practiced subtle ways to outsmart the council. Eli learned to move quietly, hide in shadows, and use the small device Liara had given him to remain undetected. Liara studied every patrol, every sensor, and every routine of the palace, ensuring that Eli could explore safely. One afternoon, while hiding in a grove of glowing ferns, Eli asked a question that made Liara pause. "Liara, why do they fear humans so much? We're not dangerous. We're just small." Liara thought carefully before answering. "They fear what they cannot control. They see humans as unpredictable, fragile, and therefore unworthy. But sometimes, the most fragile things are also the most powerful in ways they cannot imagine." Eli nodded slowly, absorbing her words. "Then maybe they need to see it for themselves. Maybe they need to learn from humans." "Perhaps," Liara said with a quiet smile, "and maybe one day they will." As the moons rose and cast silver light across the gardens, Liara and Eli sat together, planning their next lessons and discoveries. They spoke of the stars, of distant planets, and of ideas that had never been tested before. Eli suggested creative ways to solve problems, and Liara listened, amazed at the human mind's ingenuity. Each idea, no matter how small, felt like a spark that could one day ignite change. But the council was not idle. Their suspicions grew, and hidden observers moved closer, watching for any sign of Liara's continued defiance. She knew the day would come when hiding would no longer be enough, and yet she was ready to face it, not with fear but with hope. One evening, as the two of them returned from exploring a particularly remote part of the gardens, Eli paused. "Liara, what if they try to take me away? What if they force you to follow their rules?" Liara took a deep breath, looking into his earnest eyes. "Then we will find another way. Rules are not stronger than courage. Tradition is not stronger than heart. And sometimes one small act of protection can change the course of history." Eli smiled, feeling the warmth of her confidence. "Then I'll follow you no matter what." And so their secret continued. The princess and the human boy, defying the council and learning together, grew stronger with each passing day. Eli began to see the beauty and complexity of an alien world, and Liara began to see the potential of a human mind that dared to question, imagine, and create. In the quiet moments under the twin moons, they both understood something profound. The universe was vast, full of rules, expectations, and boundaries, but it was also full of possibility. And sometimes, the courage to protect and believe in someone small could spark a change greater than anyone had imagined. They did not yet know what challenges lay ahead, but they knew they would face them together. And in that knowledge, they found strength, hope, and the beginning of something extraordinary. The glow of the twin moons bathed the palace gardens in silver and violet light. Princess Liara and Eli moved quietly through the hidden paths, their steps soft on the smooth, iridescent ground. The past weeks had been tense. The council's watchful eyes seemed to grow sharper, their suspicion more persistent. Hidden sensors still moved subtly in the trees, and Liara often found herself thinking 2 steps ahead of the elders. But in the quiet moments when they were alone, Liara allowed herself to enjoy Eli's company, marveling at his eagerness to learn and his quick thinking in ways she had never seen in her own people. "Look at this," Eli whispered one evening, pointing to a cluster of small floating creatures glowing in soft shades of blue and gold. They drifted through the air in perfect harmony, moving as if part of one mind. "They're beautiful. I've never seen anything like this." "They are called luminari," Liara explained. "They respond to energy patterns. They are delicate, and the council prefers that humans do not come near, but you can see them without disturbing them. That shows awareness and respect." Eli smiled, feeling proud. "I want to learn everything. I want to understand your world the way you do." Liara looked at him and felt a mixture of admiration and concern. The council might never see the value she saw in him, but she knew he was extraordinary. "And you will," she said softly. "But knowledge must always be paired with caution. The council does not forgive mistakes easily." Their lessons continued in secret, covering everything from alien technology to the delicate balance of their ecosystem. Eli's mind was sharp, absorbing everything at an astonishing pace. He suggested ideas that often surprised Liara, creative solutions she would never have considered on her own. Each time, she realized more deeply that the council had underestimated humans. One morning, as they practiced navigation through the maze-like gardens, Liara noticed a faint glow along one of the pathways. Sensors she had not detected before pulsed softly. She pressed a hand to Eli's shoulder. "They are closer than we thought. We must be careful." Eli's eyes widened, but he nodded. "What do we do?" Liara took a deep breath. "We will continue, but we will stay 1 step ahead. The council believes rules are stronger than heart, but we know better. As the days passed, the council grew increasingly frustrated. Reports arrived that the princess was seen in areas where humans should not be, moving with precision and intention. The elders debated whether to confront her immediately or to wait and gather more evidence. Meanwhile, Liara and Eli had begun experimenting with small inventions and hidden signals, testing ways to communicate and move without detection. Eli's creativity amazed her. "Liara," he said one evening, holding a small device he had crafted from alien materials, "what if we use this to alert us if anyone is near? It could give us a few extra minutes to hide." Liara examined the device, impressed by his ingenuity. "This is excellent. You are learning quickly. The council will not expect this." They spent the following week perfecting the system, practicing signals and creating hidden spots where Eli could retreat if necessary. Their days were filled with lessons, laughter, and careful planning. And yet, despite the precautions, the council's gaze felt closer every day. Then came the day of the test. A massive energy storm erupted on the edge of the capital, sending waves of electrical energy across the city. Power systems flickered, communication lines went dark, and the council scrambled to respond. For the first time, the Dominion faced a challenge that was not simply political or bureaucratic, something immediate, dangerous, and unpredictable. Liara watched as the elders debated solutions, their usual confidence shaken. She saw an opportunity, one that could demonstrate the value of the human mind. She turned to Eli. "You have studied our systems. You understand patterns in ways they cannot see. Can you help?" Eli hesitated for a moment, fear in his eyes. I think I can try, but what if I make a mistake?" Liara smiled. "Mistakes are part of learning. You have already shown courage. Trust yourself and trust what you have learned." Working together, they moved to a hidden observation point where Eli could see the patterns of energy flowing through the city. He suggested a method to reroute the storm's energy using the ancient conduits buried beneath the palace. Liara relayed his instructions to the technicians, careful to frame them as suggestions from a trusted assistant rather than a human. The council initially dismissed the idea. "A human could never understand our systems well enough to solve this," one elder said, shaking his head. But Liara insisted, presenting the data and explaining the logic. Reluctantly, they agreed to attempt the solution. As the team worked, Liara and Eli monitored the energy flows, adjusting the rerouting in real time. Eli's intuition and quick thinking guided them, and slowly, the storm's impact lessened. Light stabilized, communication lines flickered back to life, and the city's power grid held firm. The council watched in stunned silence as the crisis was averted, thanks to the unexpected insight of one small human boy. When the last surge of the storm passed, Liara turned to Eli, her eyes shining with pride. "You did it. You helped save the city." Eli's face lit up with disbelief and joy. I did it, really." "Yes," Liara said firmly. "You proved what I have always believed. Humans can be brave, clever, and capable of greatness. Even one small human can change the course of events." The council, meanwhile, had no choice but to acknowledge the result. Though reluctant, they could not deny the evidence before them. Eli's ideas had worked, and the Dominion had been saved. For the first time, some elders began to question their assumptions about humans, seeing the potential that Liara had seen all along. In the aftermath of the storm, the palace gardens became a place of quiet reflection. Liara and Eli walked among the glowing plants, discussing the events that had unfolded. Eli still could not believe his own role in what had happened. "I never thought I could do something like that," he admitted. Liara placed a hand on his shoulder. "You have the courage and intelligence that the council cannot see. You were born with the ability to think in ways that are new to them. That is why I protect you. That is why I believe in you." Eli looked at her, admiration and trust filling his gaze. "I want to keep learning, Liara. I want to help even more." "And you will," she said. "But always remember, the greatest strength comes not just from knowledge, but from understanding, compassion, and courage." The days following the storm were filled with quiet celebrations among the citizens, though the council maintained its stern demeanor. Liara and Eli continued their lessons, but now there was a subtle change. Some members of the council, though careful not to speak openly, began to observe Eli with curiosity rather than suspicion. They had witnessed what a single human could do, and it challenged their long-held beliefs. One evening, as the moons cast silver light over the city, Liara and Eli sat by the waterfall once again. "Do you think the council will ever accept humans?" Eli asked softly. Liara thought for a moment, gazing at the glowing water. "Perhaps not completely," she said. "But they are beginning to see that humans are not just fragile creatures. They are capable of courage, insight, and innovation. And sometimes, seeing is the first step toward understanding." Eli nodded, feeling a sense of hope. "Then maybe one day, humans and aliens can work together like we do." "Yes," Liara said, smiling. "And that is why your presence here is so important. You are more than just a visitor. You are a bridge between worlds, a spark of possibility." In the weeks that followed, Liara and Eli continued their careful work, exploring hidden parts of the palace, studying alien devices, and practicing new ways to protect themselves from the council's scrutiny. Eli grew more confident, learning to think independently while still respecting Liara's guidance. He suggested improvements to the palace systems, minor innovations that could increase efficiency and safety. Liara marveled at his creativity, realizing more and more that humans had a unique perspective that even the most advanced aliens could not replicate. And then came another challenge, smaller, more subtle, but no less significant. Rumors began to circulate among the palace staff about unusual events in the gardens, strange patterns of movement, and mysterious devices appearing where none had existed before. Some began to suspect the princess of secret experiments. The council's scrutiny intensified once more, sending more observers to monitor every corner of the palace. Liara knew that hiding alone would not be enough this time. She and Eli had to think strategically, not just reactively. Together, they began developing new methods of camouflage, coded communication, and clever misdirection. Eli's ideas were ingenious, simple yet effective, and Liara implemented them with care. One evening, as they tested a small holographic decoy system, Eli laughed with delight. "This is amazing. It's like we're invisible even if they're watching." Liara smiled, feeling a mixture of pride and amusement. "You are learning quickly, Eli. Soon, no one will be able to predict our movements. But remember, this is not just about hiding. It is about thinking, observing, and understanding. The council cannot match that if we are clever." As the moons rose, casting long shadows over the glowing gardens, Liara and Eli sat quietly, reflecting on their journey. They had faced suspicion, defiance, and the unknown, yet their bond had only grown stronger. Eli had proven that humans were capable of remarkable insight, and Liara had shown that courage and compassion could challenge even the most rigid traditions. The universe was vast, full of rules, expectations, and boundaries, but Liara and Eli had discovered something more powerful: the courage to defy convention, the strength of trust, and the possibility that one small human could indeed change the course of events. And in that knowledge, they found hope, purpose, and the promise of a future where humans and aliens might one day stand together, learning from each other, creating together, and exploring the stars as equals. The council chambers were unusually quiet that morning. Light poured through the crystalline windows, reflecting off the polished floors in colors that shimmered like liquid. The elders sat in their designated places, their expressions a mixture of curiosity and wariness. The events of the past weeks, The storm, the ingenuity of Eli and Princess Liara's defiance, had unsettled them more than they would admit. Liara entered the chamber with her usual calm confidence. She walked slowly, her robes flowing like silver water behind her. Eli followed, small but steady, his human features set with quiet determination. The council had summoned them not to punish, but to observe. The elders needed proof of what Liara had been saying, that humans could be clever, courageous, and capable of making a real difference. Princess Liara, the eldest elder began, his voice measured but tense, you have repeatedly disobeyed the council's rules. You have hidden a human within the palace, exposed him to areas forbidden to his species, and defied our authority. Explain yourself. Liara took a deep breath. I did not defy the council for pride or for attention. I acted because I saw potential in someone you refused to see. Humans, though small and fragile, are capable of insight, creativity, and courage. And this one human, Eli, has proven it. He has contributed ideas that saved our city, protected our people, and challenged us to see beyond our own assumptions. The council members exchanged uneasy glances. Some whispered softly among themselves. A few younger elders looked thoughtful, as if realizing for the first time that the princess might be right. Eli, sensing the gravity of the moment, stepped forward. I didn't come here to break rules. I just wanted to understand your world, but I tried to help. I suggested ideas during the storm because I thought they could work, and they did. I'm not here to replace anyone. I just want to show that humans can be useful, that we can learn and grow just like anyone else. The council fell silent. It was rare for a human to speak in their chambers, rarer still for one to speak with such clarity and confidence. Liara watched them carefully, seeing the flickers of doubt, curiosity, and even admiration in their eyes. The eldest elder finally spoke. Your actions were bold, princess, and the results are undeniable. This human boy did indeed contribute to the resolution of a crisis that threatened the Dominion, but rules exist to maintain order. Do you believe one example is enough to challenge centuries of law and tradition? Liara's gaze met his, unwavering. Rules are meant to serve the people, not control them. One example may not change centuries of law, but it can open minds. It can show that assumptions about strength, worth, and ability are not absolute. Humans are not merely fragile beings. They can think, adapt, and inspire. And if we close ourselves to their potential, we limit ourselves as well. The chamber remained quiet. Some elders looked uneasy, others thoughtful. The council was confronted with a truth they could not ignore. A single human had made a tangible, positive impact on the Dominion, and the princess, by trusting him, had demonstrated wisdom and courage beyond their expectations. One younger elder spoke carefully. Princess, if this human is so capable, what do you propose we do? Continue to hide him or acknowledge his abilities? Liara smiled faintly. We acknowledge him, we learn from him. We create a path where humans and the Dominion can work together, safely, thoughtfully, and respectfully. Eli is only one human, but his presence is proof that bridges can be built between worlds. Knowledge, creativity, and courage are not limited to one species. The council debated quietly for hours, considering the implications of Liara's words. The traditionalists resisted, unwilling to give up centuries of assumptions. The more progressive members began to see the possibility of collaboration and mutual respect. Slowly, a consensus began to form. Humans could be given the chance to contribute, at least in controlled, supervised ways. Liara turned to Eli, her expression gentle. You see, your courage and ingenuity have not only protected the city but also begun to change hearts and minds. You have done more than I could have hoped. Eli's eyes widened, a mix of pride and humility shining through. I just tried to help. I didn't think it would matter this much. Liara shook her head. It matters more than you realize. Sometimes, the smallest actions can ripple through the largest systems. You are proof that one individual can inspire change, even in a world that seems rigid and unyielding. In the following days, Liara worked closely with the Council to create a framework for human collaboration. Small programs were introduced, allowing carefully selected humans to contribute to research, exploration, and technology development under supervision. Eli became the first ambassador of this new initiative, his insights and creativity guiding the Council's decisions in ways no one had imagined. The palace gardens, once a secret refuge, became a symbol of possibility. Humans were allowed limited access under guidance to learn about alien ecosystems, technology, and culture. Liara continued her lessons with Eli, but now they were shared openly with a small group of humans and aliens working together. The results were remarkable. Humans offered fresh perspectives, creative solutions, and inventive approaches that the aliens had never considered. One afternoon, Liara and Eli sat by the waterfall, watching the new programs unfold. Humans and aliens worked side by side, exchanging ideas, laughing, and learning from each other. "Look at them," Eli said softly. "They're actually listening. They're learning." Liara nodded. "They are, and this is just the beginning." One human, one choice, can ripple outward and change an entire civilization. Courage, trust, and understanding can bridge even the widest divides. Eli smiled, feeling a sense of belonging he had never known. "I'm glad I came here." "And I'm glad you came," Liara said, her voice filled with warmth. "You have shown that courage and creativity are not limited to one world, one species, or one rule. You have inspired change." As the weeks turned into months, the relationship between humans and the Dominion deepened. Humans contributed to research missions, alien technology experiments, and planetary exploration programs. Their unique perspectives often led to discoveries that had eluded even the most experienced alien scientists. The Council, once skeptical and rigid, began to see the value of diversity, curiosity, and courage in all forms. Liara's leadership became celebrated across the Dominion. She had risked everything to protect one human, and in doing so, she had opened a door to a new era of understanding and cooperation. Her courage became an example, inspiring others to question assumptions, seek understanding, and embrace possibilities beyond tradition. Eli continued to grow, learning rapidly from the alien world while teaching humans and aliens alike to think in new ways. His small size and fragile appearance belied the strength of his mind, the sharpness of his intuition, and the boldness of his heart. Liara often watched him in awe, realizing that one human could truly change the course of history. One evening, as they watched the twin moons rise over the crystalline towers, Liara spoke softly. "Eli, do you see what we've started? The Council is learning, humans are contributing, and our worlds are beginning to connect in ways that once seemed impossible." Eli nodded, eyes shining. "I see it. I never imagined something like this could happen, but we did it, didn't we?" "Yes," Liara said, smiling. "We did it together. One choice, one act of courage, one spark of trust, it can change everything. And this is only the beginning." As the stars sparkled in the alien sky, Liara and Eli felt a profound sense of hope. The universe was vast, and there were still countless worlds to explore, countless challenges to face. But they knew that courage, understanding, and collaboration could overcome even the most rigid rules and long-held assumptions. The Council continued to guide the Dominion, but now with new perspectives and open minds. Humans and aliens worked side by side, learning from one another, exploring new worlds, and discovering solutions that neither could achieve alone. Liara's act of defiance had shown that one individual could inspire an entire civilization to reconsider its values, embrace courage, and recognize the potential in those once thought insignificant. Eli had returned to Earth occasionally, carrying messages, ideas, and lessons learned from the Dominion. But he always returned, eager to continue learning, exploring, and contributing. Liara and Eli's bond remained strong, a symbol of what could be achieved when trust, courage, and compassion guided choices rather than fear or tradition. And in the quiet moments, under the glow of the twin moons and the sparkling gardens, Liara reflected on everything that had happened. She realized that protecting one small human had not only changed his life, it had changed hers, the Council, and the entire Dominion. It had shown that courage, empathy, and belief in others could open doors to new possibilities, even across the vastness of space. The universe, once rigid and divided, began to learn a new lesson. That strength is not measured by size or species, but by the heart, the mind, and the courage to act when it matters most. And so, the story of a princess who defied her council to protect a single human became a legend, told across worlds as an example of hope, courage, and the power of one small choice to ignite extraordinary change. Humanity had been given a chance, aliens had been given new perspectives, and together they began a journey that would shape the future of countless worlds. Liara and Eli stood together on a high terrace, looking out over the city. The lights reflected in the water of the fountains below, glowing like 1,000 tiny stars. "We've done more than I ever imagined," Eli said softly. "No," Liara said, smiling. "We've done what anyone could do if they are brave enough to trust, to protect, and to believe. One human, one choice, one act of courage. Sometimes that is all it takes to change the universe." And with that, they turned back toward the gardens, toward discovery, toward friendship, and toward a future where humans and aliens could explore the stars together, side by side as equals. The alien princess defied her council to protect a single human.